Build 42 is finally here, ladies and gentlemen, and to say that it is significantly harder than Build 41 would be an understatement. This update came with lots of changes to the game, including animals and new map expansions, so the way that you play the game has to be entirely different now. And to experience all of those changes, I decided to try and survive 30 days inside of Project Zomboid's Build 42. And now that I'm out the other side of it, I can confidently say that this update is definitely going to be a harsh adjustment to a lot of players. Build 42 is still an unstable, so it's not fully finished yet, so anything that I talk about in this video is subject to change, so just keep that in mind. Now I should mention that I had a mod that allowed me to do a random spawn, meaning that I could spawn anywhere on the entire map. I don't know why, but I just prefer not knowing where I'm gonna spawn. And for this save, I spawned in the middle of nowhere. It was the factories that you can find just outside of Moldra, which I'm actually not too mad about because I got a pretty good start with tools and everything. I had my loot spawns turned up just a little bit, I think from 0.4 to 0.8. I like to tweak the settings in this game quite a lot to make sure that it's perfect for me, but I didn't change too much in this playthrough. You can see the full list of changes in the description below if you're that curious. Since I had taken Burglar, after looting, I just hotwired a car that had gas and I took off. I really wanted to live on a farm with animals. I thought that sounded so cool. And luckily for me, there was a cow farm not too far away. Yes! We got cows. Well, it also had chickens, but I didn't really care about the chickens. The cows were more interesting to me. There was actually a decent amount of zombies lurking around the main house, so I just went and beeped my horn in front of the house for a little bit and then killed them all once they came out. This was a bit of a pain in the ass because of the new muscle strain mechanic, but I don't mind it too much and I got it done eventually. So at the end of day one, I had a house all to myself and it was actually pretty nice, to be honest. Basement? Oh, basement. Storage basement. Dude, this is fucking awesome. In case you can't tell, I really like the new basements. So I went to sleep on day one, knowing that I was in a place I was going to be staying long term, which is actually pretty rare for me. Day two, I woke up nice and early and I went straight to work. I had found Animal Care 1 yesterday, so I read that book while watching the carpentry show. But, well... I forgot to unpause my recording. You're gonna have to take my word on that one. I then went out onto the farm, where I spent the rest of the day mapping out the fields that I had. Well, actually, it got too dark before I could finish the final field, so I went to sleep and then came back on the morning of day 3 to finish mapping out the fields. I had 3 fields that I was going to be looking after. This one had chickens, this one had 2 cows, and this one had 4 cows. I decided to only really focus on the 4 cows in this field right here. A lot of this first week was definitely spent learning how animals worked. But the first thing I did was give all the cows names. Kylie, Megatron. You can be called Andrew. You can be called Zeep. It was going to be nice having a little farm that I had to look after, but I was missing a few essentials. So I wrote down a shopping list, and on day 4, I went into the nearby town. I was planning to make this town as safe as possible, so coming to it for supplies wouldn't be a pain. Although things went terribly wrong on my first visit. I looted the small police station and found a shotgun and a gun case, but I had it in my secondary hand when I jumped over a fence to escape a horde, and didn't realize that meant I would drop it. But when I went back for it, the zombies had caught up, so I couldn't grab it. This led to me having to walk away from the horde because I was too exhausted to run. I got back to my car eventually and thought that since I was going to get a new one anyway, I might as well use this one to run down all the zombies. But it ran out of gas faster than I was expecting, so I had to walk away from zombies again. Ah, shit. Ooh. No. Oh, dude. I'm so tempted just to give up at this point, man. This was such a fuck up on my part, and I only managed to escape because I found a car with gas. So I retreated and slept outside of the town for the night. And then I went back early on day 5 to get my shotgun and actually succeeded this time. I then used my car horn to lure most of the zombies away from where I wanted to loot. With the higher concentration of zombies in towns in Build 42, this is definitely going to be an important step to looting now, especially considering guns and ammo are a lot harder to come by now. There were still some zombies near the stores I wanted to loot, but it was a lot more manageable. Although the new muscle strain mechanic made even clearing these zombies a lot harder because I had to keep taking breaks. I broke into this store's gun storage, but there was nothing of use to me. Not a single gun and only a few boxes of random ammo. I got a decent amount of food though, so I wouldn't say this was a complete waste. I took my new car home and even found a trailer on the way that I could use to transport cows. After all of that, I decided to take a day off. I feel like I earned it. I was also injured, so I couldn't really do shit until I recovered. Lucky for me, Zeep sheep was now producing milk, so I spent the day making a butter churn. In build 42, if you need lots of calories fast, cows are the most powerful way to do it. You could turn milk into butter, which has 3,200 calories, and I was able to make 8 butter sticks this early. This meant it would be easy for me to keep myself at a good weight, because anytime I started losing too much, I could just eat a bunch of butter. The next day, I returned to the town to try and clear it. I had changed cars right before leaving, so I wanted to get my stuff back that I had left in the smaller car. That's when I realized I actually had a few boxes of shotgun shells, so I decided to try and make the town a little safer. I had a shotgun and a car that I didn't really care about, meaning that I could clear out lots of zombies from this town. It took all day, but I could finally finish looting the rural store and the medical center. The town was a lot safer for me to visit as well, so I could come back anytime without having to prepare for a huge fight. Since I only got back at 5 AM and didn't want to ruin my sleep schedule, I stayed up all of day 8 just chilling on the farm. I was getting low on food and didn't want to only eat butter because that would make me super overweight, so I killed one of the cows from the paddock I wasn't really taking care of. It was nice to have a proper meal for once that wasn't just butter. And right as I decided to sleep, the helicopter showed up, which was actually pretty lucky because that meant it wouldn't follow me around and lure lots of zombies to the farm. I decided to go see what the situation was like in Muldraw. Muldraw had been fully reworked, so I was really keen to explore it, but
Oh, and that's just the first corner.
so I couldn't really drive in just yet. I tried to slowly lure small groups away at a time and take them out, but since one of my arms was still injured, I couldn't really do that. So instead, I just looted some of the surrounding warehouses and farms to get anything useful. Nothing really special happened on day 10 or 11. I kind of just waited for my arm to heal, so I read a bunch of books. On day 12, I spent the day looking after the cows. I filled up their water trough to about half so they could survive a few days without me because I wanted to go fishing. I left for the town that I had cleared because there was a nice lake there, and I ran out of fishing line almost immediately. I tried to find some more, but I couldn't. At least I finally found a hose so I could siphon gas from now.
Hose!
With my fishing trip ruined and my arm finally healed, I decided to finally go to Muldraw. I had one objective: loot the police station. With the increased numbers of zombies around important locations, I was going to need some serious firepower to start making progress faster. It would be really difficult to get in there, but I could pull it off. Before starting the mission, I quickly looted the VHS store. I was planning on power leveling my carpentry and mechanics later, and having lots of VHS tapes would make this a lot easier. Now, for step 1. I needed to use my horn to lure the bulk of zombies away from the police station. With this many zombies, I couldn't hope to fight all of them off without guns, and since I'd used most of my ammo previously, I didn't really have a choice. So I drove along the main road, making as much sound as I possibly could, and then I looped back. But I got swarmed when I got back to the police station, so I had to do it twice.
Ow.
I made my way inside, but there was still too many zombies inside the police station. At this point, I was exhausted, so I had no other choice but to sleep in my car. Coming back the next day, I actually made it in. I had to kill lots of zombies, and muscle strain made that a pain in the ass. In the basement, there was a medical room and a morgue, so I got some useful things, as well as an evidence room I spent way too long breaking into.
Got it. Okay. Oh yeah, shotgun shells. What? That was scary.
I tried to break into the armory next, but I was way too tired, so I slept in the office upstairs and came back to it. I was sleepy, exhausted, anxious, and starving, but I finally got into the armory. I spent 4 days trying to get in here, and it was about to finally pay off. At least it would have if I changed the ammo and gun spawn rates up as well.
Wait, that's it?
I'm so mad that I didn't looking back at this. I didn't bump gun and ammo spawns up to 0.8 like the rest of the things because I thought that since those are the most powerful items, I should stick to having the default amounts of them. Here is the list of everything I found in the police station armory. I spent 4 days working to get into. While I'm editing this, they actually released an update that apparently fixed this, so it's all good now. Don't have a problem with it. This sucked considering that I still only had aiming level 1, so a shotgun was the only gun I could effectively use. I was so excited to finally have a chance to loot some bigger things, but with this little reward for a 3-day process, I felt defeated. I drove home with everything I had found, then planned my next steps. On day 18, I did a final drive around the nearby houses, collecting anything useful, including finally getting a can opener.
Finally!
When I got back to the farm, I attached this trailer that I found to my truck, put one of my cows in it, and prepared to move. I started driving to the new map expansion. Build 42 added a ton of new places to explore, and it would be a complete wasted opportunity if I didn't go check them out. So I planned to drive all the way over to the other side of the map and find a new farm to live on. I spent some time looking around until someone in chat tipped me off of an awesome little farmhouse out here. So after sleeping in my car, I eventually made it. This was the perfect place for me to stay. It was out in the forest and not too many zombies would be around. It already had pigs, so there would be a place that I could put my cows. And it was all fenced in, so it would be secure once I built a gate. I did have to clear a few zombies. I guess this place just had a lot of farmhands. Since I was drowsy and having to manage muscle strain, I ended up just luring them out into the forest behind the house. Now that I was safe here, I moved the pigs into another pen and got the shed ready for my cows. I could only bring one with me at a time though, so I was going to have to do 3 more trips to get all my cows. And I'm not sure if this was lucky or not, but hell event happened again while I was inside, so yet again didn't really affect me. On day 21, I went into the nearby town Ekron. Ekron had almost everything I would need, including a gun store and a gas station, and my first target was the gun store. If I was going to deal with some of the hordes back there, luring them all away wasn't going to work as well as I wanted it to. So getting some more ammo would be crucial. But I didn't have much of a choice at the moment, so I kinda had to just lure this group away from the gun store. It kinda worked, I guess, but I ended up just hot wiring a random car and using it to run down the stray zombies left. This gun store wasn't a waste of time though, because I actually got a nice M14 and more shotgun shells. Yes! And it didn't even take a quarter of the effort that the police station took. And then while looking through the church for some food, I finally found the generator magazine so I could actually set up a generator. Yes! I hotwired a new car and took it home with all my new stuff. I found the gen knowledge at a good time as well because my power went out that night. Okay, it's a good thing that we're gonna set up the generator. I set up a generator and really just hung around my house all day. I organized storage and even set up an armory. Later in the evening, I started driving back to the old farm to collect another one of my cows. Hey, buddy. Oh, you've got babies. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh. I didn't see the babies. Oh, no. Oh, no. I think I'm gonna leave that out of the video. I slept at my old house and brought back a cow on day 23. These drives were gonna be 2-day adventures per trip, so I decided to stop until day 30 because it would kinda suck if all I did was drive the last 10 days. I wanted to go get some more gas in the town, but my car ran out before I even made it there. Shit. This was the start of my downfall. I was out of gas apart from what was in my generator, and even worse was I hadn't set up the nearby gas station, so I would have to walk all the way into Ekron and find a car with enough gas to hopefully lure enough zombies away from the gas station. I had to sleep in the town and finally found a nice van to get me home. I got really close to dying a few times while looking, so I decided to take it easy and finally watch those VHS tapes. But turns out you can't level up skills past 3 with VHS tapes anymore. Meaning I collected almost all of these for no reason. I think this change makes sense. At least you can change it in the sandbox settings if you don't like it, but right now, man, I was tilted. It now felt like the whole mole draw trip was a waste of time. I had no way of clearing hordes of zombies, I was running out of gas very fast, I had very little ammunition for my guns, and I was starting to run low on food. Something had to change. I was going to have to take a risk and use fire to clear the zombies at the gas station. With little fuel, I couldn't lure them away for long, so burning them was my only choice. Luckily, I had some alcohol in my house, so I went to go make some Molotovs. And you can't make them. I hope this is just because Build 42 is unstable and they will add them back, but I swear if they don't, it's probably because of the new liquid transferring system, and working out Molotovs with that would be way too difficult for them to do an unstable. But with my last resort being removed, it was too much and I quit for a few days. Especially since the alternative, the firebomb, which is just a bottle of gasoline with a rag in it, needs a fucking schematic. Are you kidding me? I need a schematic to tell me that gasoline plus fire equal more fire. After cooling off, I decided I was going to try and lure them away from the gas station. I had little options at this point. I started by trying to lure them away into the nearby field, but turns out off-roading chews through your gas, so I almost ran out of it in the first few minutes. I decided I needed to at least try and get a little gas, so I wanted to hook up the generator, but there was still too many zombies hanging around. I tried to take them out one by one, but I was exhausted before I even dealt with half of them, so I had to leave. But I was going to have to check as many parked cars as I could because I didn't even have enough gas to get me home and ended up having to sleep in a mail truck. I couldn't find any gas in any of the cars that I checked, so I just hoped my car would at least get me back to the dirt road, but it ended up dying in the worst place possible. So now I had to walk all the way home, which took all day. I tried walking along the road by my house looking for any crashed cars for just a little bit of gas, but I just couldn't find any. I planned to go back to town to find any gas I could get my hands on. I walked all the way back from home and started going house to house. If I had taken the time to secure the gas station sooner, I would not be in this mess. After walking to the other side of town, I finally found a mail truck with gas in it, and it was practically full. So now all I had to do was collect my generator from my car I left behind. But of course it was completely swarmed with zombies. I made a stupid decision and tried to run them all down with my new truck. My thought process was that I could kill them all and then just take the gas from this truck and put it into my old one. This was a horrible failure, and I didn't even have enough time to fill up my gas once the truck broke down. I genuinely don't know what I was thinking. I tried doubling back to get some more gas, but the zombies just wouldn't leave this area and I was too tired to fight them. I was in a bad spot and now it was getting late, so I went to go take cover in a house and maybe sleep till morning when... a house alarm went off. Of all things that could have happened, a fucking house alarm was the worst. I tried running to another house, but even the 3 zombies there were too much for me. I just started running. I didn't even know what else to do. At least I was technically on day 30 now. It's about the small victories. I ended up coming across a car with gas and it also had a key, so I just took off. This was so lucky and it was the only reason I survived.
This had a key in it?
I made it home and ate the last of my food. I had nothing left. No gas, no food, was running out of water fast too. I had to make a big play. I grabbed all my guns and went into town. I was going to try and forcefully take the gas station and get my car back. I walked back into town for what could be my final stand. I tried to fight for the mail truck that I broke so I could get the gas from it, but I quickly got overwhelmed. I thought the new aiming system would make it easier for me to hit shots, but apparently not because I missed almost everything.
Telling me I'm not hitting a single zombie right now.
To be fair, I was aiming level 1, so I wouldn't be that good, but I feel like if the zombies are filling my entire crosshair, I should at least be hitting them.
Hey, me again. I'm pretty sure they fixed this too, so all good.
I ended up switching to my shotgun, which was a lot more consistent, but this was it. I was impatient and I was angry at the previous 10 days, and all I was thinking about was taking down as many as I could. Before I knew it, I was surrounded.
Stretch, really? Okay. Oh no. I can bullshit my way through this, can't I? No!
Looking back on this, I should have tried to hop the fence, but my character was tired, so I didn't think I would even make it. But that still would have been a better alternative to running straight through them, I'm sure. Overall, I would say my experience with Build 42 was probably not the best. Don't get me wrong, 90% of the issues I had was just a pure skill issue. I'm not blaming the game at all for that. Any complaints that I have are mostly restricted to settings that you can change anyway, so not much for me to say really. The increased number of zombies around important locations is really cool. I just wish the loot was more rewarding, which apparently they fixed in the most recent update, so that's good. And even if they didn't, it's a setting I can change, so who am I to complain? The animals are perfect. 10 out of 10 edition, it feels so natural to have them in the game. However, the new crafting system I didn't have much time to experiment with. I've seen that it's really complicated to get like a forge set up and it's not even fully implemented yet. From what I've seen, the crafting system is going to benefit a lot from the addition of NPCs whenever that happens. I kind of wish NPCs came first before the crafting system, but I'm not a game dev. Make whatever you want. I can't stress enough how much I am not qualified to criticize them for anything they did. Overall, I'm really excited to see what happens when Build 42 fully releases, and I'm super excited to have multiplayer. Hopefully soon. So Build 42 Unstable gets an 8.5 from me. And hey, if you're watching this far, you might as well subscribe, right? I think I make cool videos.